Hey, it's Doug from Rise Above Performance Training, and I have a few more core exercises that you can do using a stability ball. Let's check it out. Last week we did all stability ball plank variations. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in the card above. Today we're going to do more dynamic things like sit-ups and other things. So let's get to them. The first one is the basic sit-up. I'm going to have a little bit of support here, so if you have a wall or weights, it's good to have your feet against something so that way the ball is stable. So that's the first thing. When we do a sit-up, we don't want to actually use the ball. We're just using it as a place where we're sitting. So I'm not rolling the ball to sit myself up. That kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. So what I'm going to do is sit on this front third of the ball, so I have a little bit of ball behind me. If I sit on top, I'll have a little less of the ball behind me. It'll be a little bit harder, but I think for most people, sitting on that front third for sit-ups is going to be a good place to start. Again, I'm going to have my feet against something. Chest is up. I'm going to tighten my core. I'm going to keep my eyes focused upward so I don't crunch my neck, and I'm going to sit up, control down, trying to keep the ball as stable as I can. I go until I feel a nice stretch in my core and come back up. When I'm here, I can rest. When I'm moving, I keep tension on my core and even in my glutes to protect my low back. The second one we can do is add a little bit of rotation. So as I sit upward, I'm going to rotate my shoulder towards my knee. So I'm going to go down, and as I come up, I'm just going to gently rotate. I like to come back to the middle and then down, and then we'll rotate on the other side. So after you get good with the sit-ups and you're doing repetitions for 10, 15, or 20 repetitions, you can add weight to it. So I'm going to add a dumbbell. You can also add a kettlebell or a weight plate. I'm going to keep it against my chest, and I'm just going to do the same principles. I'm going back, control when I feel a stretch. I come up. If I do the rotation variation, I'm going to come down and rotate back to the middle, trying to be as smooth and as stable as I can. One of my favorite exercises using the stability ball for the core is a rollout. And I basically call the rollout a moving front plank. We use this a lot with our adults and our athletes at the gym. We're going to be on the knees. The ball is going to be out in front of us, and I start with my hands in a triangle position or prayer position right on the ball. I'm going to tuck my tailbone a little bit, tighten my core, tighten my glutes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move from the hips. I'm going to elongate my body, controlling down and staying tight in the glutes and the core. When I feel a stretch, I'm going to come back. So again, I'm going to keep head neutral, moving from my hips, long body, and back. Couple common mistakes is not moving from the hips and you just move the arms out and you keep your hips at home. That's not going to do too much. The second one is dropping the hips below the shoulders. So when I roll out, I don't want to drop the hips below the shoulders. Usually these people are not tight enough at the bottom. So you're going to tighten up here, and then that'll keep you a little bit more in line with the shoulders. Lastly, this is a great exercise because I can start with the ball close for people that are just learning it, and I can gradually move the ball further away for people who are more advanced at this exercise. This is a great precursor to doing things like ab wheel rollouts, so give this a shot. Along those same lines of the rollout, we can position our body a different way in a prone position and roll the ball in towards us like a knee tuck. So I'm going to have the ball on my shins. I'm going to be in a push-up position. I'm going to tighten my glutes, and I'm going to pull the ball into my body. Now again, when I pull in, I don't want the hips to drop. I'm going to keep my hips tight, roll in, and be smooth rolling out. I can be on my toes, which is a little bit harder. Roll in and roll out. The other thing is, if I'm a beginner, I can have the ball a little bit closer to my knees and start the roll in this way and be a little more supported in that movement, and I can gradually move the ball out to make it a little bit more challenging for where I'm at in my training. If you want to take your knee tuck to the next level, we can add a hip hinge, pushing our hips into the air, using our shoulder strength, and turn it into a pike. A pike is going to require some shoulder stability and strength. Here's how to do it. The setup is very similar to the knee tuck. I'm going to start on my toes and make it a little bit more kind of on the advanced level to show you the range of motion. I'm going to push my hips into the air, push my hands in the ground, and then control back. When I control back, again, I'm not dropping my hips too low. I'm tightening my core, rolling up, pushing my hips in the air, and controlling down. Much like the knee tuck, I can have the ball a little bit closer to my knees and start with baby pikes. And then as I get better and better, I can move the ball backwards and have more of a pike and rely a little bit more on my core strength and shoulder stability. So you may have seen the dead bug as a good low back strengthener and core stabilizer, and I'll show you that really quick. So our belly button is going to be flat on the ground, so I cannot put my hand through to the other side. My hands are going to be up, my knees are going to be bent, and I'm going to extend one arm and one leg straight out without losing that flat back arch. Come back to the middle. Switch and come back. So once you master that, you can add the stability ball and make it a little more challenging. So I'm going to have my hands on the ball and then my knees against the ball, so it's going to support the ball. Now I'm going to move my opposite arm and opposite leg again, and I have to keep the ball there. Once I get here, I switch, making sure my glutes are engaged, my low back remains flat, and I'm able to stabilize the stability ball in that position. Lastly, we can do some lateral flexions with a sit-up targeting the obliques. I brought my support out again, had to put a kettlebell behind it so it won't slide even further, but you can use a wall, a bench, any kind of weight to keep you supported because you're going to really push into the wall with those feet. I'm going to have my top foot in front. I'm going to have my rear foot behind me. And I'm going to have the ball pretty low on the hip so I have good range of motion. This one, if it's higher towards my arm, it's going to limit the range of motion for this movement. So once I settle, I'm going to have my hands gently across my head. I'm going to laterally flex up, control down. Again, I'm trying to keep the stability ball stable. And I'm really kind of squeezing my glutes and my side as I come up and I control down. When I'm here, I can kind of rest. Before I go, I tighten up, come up, and control down. And of course, on this one, I would do both sides. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like it down below. Please also consider subscribing as we try to put a new video out every week. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.